I'm still in close touch with him, and he lives in a cabin on the Upper Peninsula in Michigan now, and I try to get together with him once a year. My other commander, the guy I worked for in Iraq, was a little different, and wasn't someone I trusted. And when you don't trust somebody, whether you like somebody doesn't matter. And what matters is trust. And everybody liked him, and nobody trusted him. And it's a profoundly disorienting feeling because you're relying on other people's judgment and other people's honesty and other people's intelligence. And all of what it all adds up to is you're literally putting your lives in the hands of other people. And if you don't trust them, then it's like you're blindfolded in the room. You know, it's a blindfolded boxing match, and you don't know where the hits are coming from. And how do you deal with it, though? What do you do? I think that it comes back to mission and men. No one is obligated to obey an order that is either illegal or immoral. And that's great, but it's ultimately not very helpful because the tough calls are typically legal and moral. They're just bad calls. And so you got to come back to mission and men. Is what you're being asked to do, is it in pursuit of the mission, and does it allow you to take adequate care of your people? And you're getting paid to make that call. And you have to be willing, as was said earlier, to make those decisions without concern for your own career. You really, I think it's helpful if you have your resignation letter already written, because it gives you a freedom to make decisions, a freedom to do what you think is right. And I'm not suggesting that you be cavalier, because you better be right. So it has to be done with a lot of judiciousness and a lot of good judgment and for the right reasons. But there are going to be times when maybe you need to draw the line in the sand and say, no, sir. Not doing it. At the same time, you have an obligation as a junior officer or a junior leader to not to tell your commander what you can't do, but to provide him or her with options. So if you're saying no, that's okay, but give me an alternative. Help me execute within the commander's intent and find another way, find a better way. I always found with my Marines, if I told them how to do something, it was inevitable that I would look like an idiot because they would find a better way. Much better to tell them what to do and let them figure out how to do it. And I would say the same is true when you're receiving orders from above.
James? Or Bryan?
I actually have two examples, and they're both officers, actually. Not even NCOs, not somebody that you're in charge of. And that's what I kind of found surprising when I came across these two people, because you wouldn't expect people that, are over you to be necessarily the ones. Both of them were in Korea. One was my battery commander, and the other was the battalion executive officer. And the issue was not so much of their inability to take care of the troops as much as their gross incompetence and not being fit to hold the rank that they wore. And with that said, you always respect the rank people wear. But I'm a firm believer that to respect the person, they have to earn that trust from you. In the same way that the trust that soldiers have of you is earned. You don't just get it overnight. And I found myself in Iraq probably taking 3 or 4 months until I had that kind of rapport where I had people that would follow me anywhere. When I first got there, they didn't know who Bryan Jackson was. I had to earn that. But going back to those two examples, I think the military doesn't always do the best job weeding those people out. So it may come to you having to still get the mission done despite them not being able to accomplish it themselves. If they're still in that position, at the end of the day, you can't help that. You have to do what you can do at your level to best impact the mission and take care of soldiers. And that's what I found myself doing. And having been in Korea for a month or so, I was put in charge of this artillery battery for a couple of months. And when the commander came back, he resumed. Going back to what I said, at your level, when you first start off as a platoon leader, or even if you're a company commander, you do the best that you can and let your boss worry about the rest of it. Because at some point, someone will take it.
I'll hit on real quick, dealing with your senior enlisted. They are the backbone of the military. They have the experience. It's their job to train, especially when you're first starting out as an officer, as a junior officer. It's their job to train the junior enlisted and the junior officers. So without them, we'd be nowhere. I hope that, I look back on one chief who wasn't that great, but I've been blessed with one that's absolutely phenomenal. So you're going to butt heads a lot. It's your job to make sure that your guys are safe, that they're trained, that they're equipped. And the training aspect of it will come from your senior enlisted. But make no mistake about it, that doesn't give them carte blanche. Like the responsibility falls on you. You get paid more dollars for that very reason. So if someone's going to take the fall, it's going to be you. But forget that. You just want to make sure that your mission's going to get done and your guys are going to come home safe. So best way to do that, if your guys know that you have their best interests in mind and you know that you're humble enough to say, roger that, yeah, let's do that way, like I'm an idiot, then they will respect you more than you think they will. Because as long as the best idea is presented and followed and the best way to handle things is executed, then you're a better team for it and you'll be a better leader. And those guys will follow you anywhere as long as they know that you're competent enough to know when you're not right.
All right, we are on time, surprisingly enough, so we're going